Look at that. This is a silly metric to focus on, but does one good thing. 20,000 people watching, baby. Let's go. You're acting like this isn't a good thing. No, this is a great thing. What do you mean? Why would I say this is not a good thing? The only thing is I wish it was more. This is a 1, campaign promise. 2, something that should have been done a long time ago. I am 100% a fan of this, okay? What the fuck are you talking about? The only thing I'm not a fan of is that it's only 10K. But there are other good provisions in here. Like, as long as you make like 150, as long as you make like a payment of $150, like your interests are stopped entirely. Like, there's some really cool shit in this, in the debt repayment side too, that is like tremendous. But I'm the most excited because now my college-educated people will have $10,000 extra in their pocket so they can buy a $5 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime and then avoid the ads at the top of the fucking hour. Let's go! You sign up for the loan, you should pay for it. Are they going to forgive mortgages next? I mean, that'd be sick, but medical debt, I think, would be the place I go to first instead of mortgages. Yeah. Can you imagine if they did that for medical debt, dude? Oh my God, this country would literally like start resembling a real country. Motherfuckers act like conservatives don't take out student loans, by the way. So, you know, remember that. What we're talking about is millions of Americans, okay? He just won directly millions of Americans, straight up, with one fucking signature. Millions of Americans are like, you just saved my life. This is life-changing. This is life-changing debt relief. Biden says there's plenty of deficit reduction to pay for the program. I will never apologize for helping working Americans, especially not to the same folks who voted for a $2 trillion tax cut that mainly benefited the wealthiest Americans. This policy is good. The only criticisms that I would have over this policy is that it's not perfect or that it's not going far enough. But even then, this is a good start, okay? And the many layers of the debt relief isn't just like, oh, dude, boom, 20K if you took Pell Grants are gone, yeeted, that you don't have to pay for. That's great on its own, but there is more to it than just that. The secondary consequence of this is the same feeling that Americans have for a brief moment. And this, I believe, maybe I'm being a little too excited. Maybe I'm being a little too, optimistic about this. But the number one thing that things like this, initiatives like this provide people is a sense of hope that the government can, in times of need, help you out. We saw the impact of this during COVID when the stimmy checks started coming in. It was for the first time ever, the government actually did something and eradicated extreme poverty in America. If you recall, the first month of the pandemic at the peak of it, right? We literally did not have extreme poverty in America. It just wiped it out straight up. And I think that does something that the past century of American politics never does, and that is instill a sense of hope that the government can sometimes actually do something for you. That's a good thing because every single fucking initiative leading up to this from Democrats and Republicans both have literally done the exact opposite, which is the government's never there to help. I'm from the government and I'm here to help is the worst thing you can ever hear. That mentality has played into starving the beast. That mentality has played into further tax breaks. Oftentimes, of course, the lion's share of that goes to the higher tax brackets. This, no matter which way Republicans and even a lot of Democrats who have a financial interest in stopping this from happening because like they have a vested interest in propagandizing for like debt refinancing companies and the like that have a vested interest in ensuring their success because this hurts those companies. Those people are going to fucking shit on this nonstop. Hopefully the Biden White House will be able to effectively counter this initiative. Okay. And there are Democrats that are going to come out against this, by the way. So make no mistake. Don't be some pushback among Dems and tough raises the Biden student loan move. Chris Pappas, frontline House Democrat from New Hampshire. Any plan to address student debt should go through the legislative process, and it should be more targeted and paid for so it doesn't add to the deficit. Like, I want to, if anyone brings up deficit spending, if anyone, especially a Democrat, brings up PAYGO or deficit spending or how this is going to fucking hurt the deficit, I want to put you in a trebuchet and launch you into the fucking sun. Shut the fuck up. Stop offering counter propaganda. That is not even true. This is already targeted. They're just literally saying that so that they can like win over this non-existing fucking person, this non-existing voter. Message adequately. Whip the fucking party. Okay? Nancy Pelosi, come back from your Italian vacation with a real fucking whip and start slamming these motherfuckers. Don't let a single fucking leak within the Democratic Party come out against this. It is so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. How do you allow this? Beat the shit out of this person. No committees for you if you talk like this. Explain how it is not true. It's not true because no one gives a shit about deficit spending when it comes to the fucking military. They only talk about deficit spending not even when it's a tax cut for the wealthy. People only care about deficit spending or deficits when it is an initiative that helps the large majority of working class Americans. At a certain point, you need to fucking comprehend this, okay? Today is like 9/11 for people with Harvard in their bio. Yo, literally. I've never seen so many fucking Harvard in the bio asses that are liberal, by the way, or are, you know, Lincoln Project ass liberals, freaking the fuck out over this. It's not a bad thing. This is a good thing. Okay, shut the fuck up. The only negative thing on this is that it doesn't go far enough. Here's Bernie Sanders' take on it. From Burlington, Vermont, the president's decision today to reduce the outrageous level of student debt in our country is an important step forward in providing real financial help to a struggling middle class. Today's announcement to reduce up to $10,000 in student debt for working class Americans and up to $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients will eliminate student debt for some 20 million Americans and reduce debt for some 43 million. That's insane, bro. Think about that. 43 million Americans are going to have their debt reduced. 43 million Americans. Think about how much. That's so many fucking voters, dude. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. What are you supposed to do? This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're doing. This is legislation. This is, well, technically it's not legislation, but like this is what an adequate government is supposed to do. The result of this decision is that millions of Americans will now be in a better position to start families or buy the homes or cars they have long needed. This is a big deal. This also helps the economy. Can you rate this act on a 1 to 10? I want to get the decimal number to process your feelings. I'm at like a 7 right now. But we have got to do more. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, education from preschool through graduate school must be a fundamental right for all and not a privilege for the wealthy few. If the United States is going to effectively compete in the global economy, we need the best educated workforce in the world. True. And that means making public colleges and universities tuition free as many other major countries currently do. True. Spitting. And that includes trade schools and minority serving institutions as well. Spitting. In the year 2022, the wealthiest country on earth, everyone in America who wants a higher education should be able to get that education without going into debt. If I'm reading this correctly, Biden's student debt program is far better than I anticipated. The new rules on income-based repayment mean that you will no longer see your loan balance increase while you are making payments. That is what I was talking about. This part of it is insane. You cover the borrower's unpaid monthly interest so that unlike other existing income-driven repayment plans, no borrower's loan balance will grow as long as they make their monthly payments, which are capped too, as long as you're below a certain income level, even when that monthly payment is zero because their income is low. That's a gigantic help, dude. This country has never advanced without major, at least Keynesian economic moves, okay? The reason why there is even such a concept as homeownership in this country is the fucking GI Bill. The reason why people were educated was the GI Bill. The reason why this country became a productive labor force is a consequence of payment plans offered by the government, is a consequence of favorable loans offered by the government. It's fucking psychotic. This is what America has always been about. Lol, people on the con side and Harvard side saying Biden is buying votes with 20K. Okay, thanks. Minus 20K plus 1 vote works for me. Exactly. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what being a legislator is. That's what being a leader is. You buy votes. That's what you're supposed to do. We are so fucking brain broken in America that we literally think when politicians do something good, that's somehow a bad thing. These motherfuckers buy votes for the corporations of the wealthy every goddamn day. I've talked about this before. The old Mitt Romney tweet that I responded to, if you guys remember, maybe one of you can pull it up. A couple months back, Mitt Romney was like, what's next? Are we going to fucking eliminate medical debt too? And I was like, yeah, that would be great. Exactly. Framing Lamau. Biden announces $300 billion loan handout. President Biden speaks on student loan debt plan. Yeah. Handout. It's a handout. It's a handout. When it's a corporation, it's not a handout. That's why these motherfuckers, when they act like they're of the Austrian school, right? When they believe in like Austrian economics, it's a lie. It's a fucking lie. They love num 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 num. They love suckling on the government titty. They love that shit. They just don't want normal people to be able to get a fucking crumb, because the normal crumbs that a normal average Joe could get is a crumb that the fucking billionaires couldn't get from the government. That's fucking bullshit. Biden is literally telling every college in America to raise tuition by $10,000. This is my favorite fucking right-wing take, which of course, again, you can apply this attitude to every part of your lives, but Tom Cotton will never do that about landlords. It's like, oh, dude, what? These are not institutions that are completely removed from some level of control. You can't just, if they do that, we should punish them. They're already doing it. They're already fucking doing it. So true. One more thing though. What about people like my wife and I who live well below our means after college to pay off our loans? Okay. I mean, I'm glad that you were able to pay off your loans, my friend. You know what I mean? I lived well below my fucking means after college to be able to pay off my loans too. It doesn't work like that. You understand how fucking shitty that was. You struggled through it and you survived. What do you mean? What are you going to do? Kick people, kick the ladder back? Like, what the fuck is that about? I had polio. Why should other people be able to get the polio vaccine? Exactly. I literally just finished paying off my student loans in May. Forgive them all. My friend, I have something wonderful to tell you. You could ask for a fucking refund. If you just paid off your loans, that means you probably paid off your loans in the past, in the moratorium period. Therefore, you can ask the government for a refund on those payments. Isn't that great? Remember when you yielded to chatter for exactly the same take? If you suffer for the repayment of other shit too, right? People are just selfish. Yeah. That's just selfishness masked as like some kind of moral purpose. That's what I'm saying. Like you're describing being selfish and describing envy, but you're trying to moralize it by being like, well, what about the integrity of all the people who paid off their debt? Okay, well, I did too. Suck me. Okay, and I am not an asshole. So sorry if the really stupid question, does the student loan thing have to pass Congress? No, it's not. That's the beautiful part about it. These are federal loans. Therefore, the president could actually literally with the signature of a pen, actually forgive all of them if he wanted to. $1.6 trillion worth, as a matter of fact. Yeah, isn't that wonderful? He could do that. The same exact principle applies to 10,000 as it does to every single penny. Straight up. Betsy DeVos came out swinging for this. All of the worst demons are going to come out against this, by the way, which should reinforce the happiness that you feel about in this very moment, that the government has actually finally done one fucking thing right. It's a small step in the right direction, but it's still a good step. 3 key things that are true. This is 100% illegal. No, it's not. You were literally the Secretary of State. Shut the fuck up. This is unfair to everyone who paid their loan or never took one out. This doesn't fix anything. College tuition will keep rising and students will keep taking on debt. Yeah, it's really unfair that we're funding the fire department for all of those people who haven't had fires in their houses, right? It's so fucked up. Yeah, one thing that should reinforce, if you don't know anything about this, plan, the one thing that should make you feel confident about it is that Betsy DeVos and every dumb liberal motherfucker and every dumb conservative motherfucker is against it. Perfect. Anyone that doesn't tell you that this is a step in the right direction is lying to you. It's not the best solution, and there is so much more we have to do. But anyone that gets mad at this is fucking ridiculous. Unless they're upset that it's not more, because there was a promise that it was going to be much more. Oh my God. What's that about paying loans back? The House Judiciary GOP. If you take out a loan, you pay it back, period. Huh. Dude, I think we should do this. If you publicly come out against loan forgiveness, I'm just like reading it again. The federal government should come to your house with 87,000 new IRS agents kitted up with BIDOC dollars and force you to repay every single dime you got from the PPP loans that were forgiven. Meanwhile, the student loans in Sweden and Scandinavia is a dream, almost 0% interest, and you pay off the loan over like 20 years. They want as many people as possible to study because it benefits the state. I know. You know what else some countries do? They literally pay you to go to college. Not only is college education free, but in certain European countries, you might even get paid to go to college, okay? Because that's what a normal country should do. Why? Well, because that's how you make a more productive labor force, okay? That's how it works. From 7/28/21, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, people think that the President of the United States has the power to debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. This has to be an act of Congress.
People think that the President of the United States, is this more on the subject than you ever want to know? Well, you'll let me know. People think that the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress.
What fucking president is going to come in, okay, and reverse that with executive decision, with an executive order? What fucking Republican or Democrat is going to turn around and be like, hey, 45 million Americans, you're fucked again? No, dude. People saying Trump, you're out of your fucking mind. You are insane if you think a single Republican is that stupid. This is why they fight so hard against social safety nets, because they know undermining already established social safety nets is impossible. That's why they can't fucking cut Social Security. They know once people have it, you can't take it back. That's why they fought so hard against Obamacare. What happened? Trump tried to fucking take it away. What happened? It didn't work. That's how it works. That's why the Republican Party so effectively tries to shut this before It happens. Do you understand? It is infinitely more difficult to reverse social safety nets and take it away once people have it. Think about what this is going to do to drive people to fucking vote too. I know a lot of you do not care about electoralism. I know a lot of you have given up, but this is 45 million Americans that got a serious fucking debt relief. Like, that's huge. That's fucking huge, man. That's still a big deal. This is why I always say, even marginal differences in policy amongst the two parties, and it's really disgusting that the Democrats know this and use this to their advantage, but even marginal differences amongst the two parties that are often just bipartisan on every single issue leads to drastic outcomes on the ground. What you have to remember is not get complacent and be like, oh, Brandon is working for us. He's not. He sucks. You need to keep pushing. And don't stop. When I say keep pushing, I mean organize. Ensure that there is a mechanism of pushback outside of the current political spectrum, outside of the current political process. But it's not a bad thing. This is a good thing. It's a huge thing. McConnell says Biden's student loan forgiveness is a wildly unfair redistribution of wealth. This motherfucker, a demon for real. Straight up a fucking demon. If it was truly a wildly unfair redistribution of wealth, McConnell would be on board. McConnell would be so on board. McConnell has never seen a reverse Robin Hood scheme that he hasn't loved. I'm very glad this is helping people who really need it, but without structural change, I don't see how a one-time forgiveness will prevent this in the future. Wait, I agree. But, you know, the same don't look a gift horse in the mouth principle applies for you as well, in the sense that, like, you know, get excited. Distribution of student loan borrowers by balance. The average student loan debt for what, 12.2 million Americans is $10,000 to $25,000? Eviscerated, dude. Eviscerated. Boom, gone. Boom, gone. Boom, gone. A big chunk, gone. I mean, that's crazy. This is like the fattest fucking chunk. The fattest chunk of people whose entire debt is gone. Pee-pee poof. As Biden cancels some student debt, remember why debt exists? A key Reagan advisor warned in 1970 that free college was producing a dangerously explosive dynamite of an educated proletariat, and we have to be selective on who we allow to go through higher education. Later in 1970, Roger Freeman, a key educational advisor to Nixon, then working for the re-election of California Governor Ronald Reagan, spelled out quite precisely what the conservative counterattack was aimed at preventing. We are in danger of producing an educated proletariat. That's dynamite. We have to be selective on who we allow to go through higher education. If not, we will have a large number of highly trained and unemployed people. The two most menacing institutional sources of danger described by Freeman were obviously those two great public university systems charging no tuition, the University of California and the City University of New York. Governor Reagan was able to wipe out free tuition at the University of California. This is a double bind. On the one hand, he's saying an educated population is going to be really hard to maintain control over. But on the other hand, he's also stating that they're going to be unemployed because someone needs to clean the fucking toilets. And if you let everybody get educated, they're not going to want to clean the toilets. There is no other way under a capitalist organization of the economy to maintain that underclass. So you have to do whatever the fuck you can to ensure that there's a service industry, a viable, permanent underclass that will consistently enslave themselves for your profits. It is completely beyond the pale to assume that a different structure or a different organization of the economy could ever exist. Here's Jason Furman, former Obama administration official, of course, professor of practice at Harvard, another Harvard in the bio ass motherfucker. Pouring roughly $500 billion of gasoline on the inflationary fire that is already burning is reckless. Doing it while going well beyond one campaign promise, $10K of student loan relief, and breaking another, all proposals paid for, is even worse. Oh man, Americans are going to be so mad that Brandon didn't do a pay for proposal. Oh no. How about don't look a gift horse in the mouth? Have you ever thought about that? No, of course not, you fucking piece of shit. Oh no, it's not. What about the pay for? Who gives a fuck? By the way, those examples also contradict the baseline some have concocted to claim that this won't raise inflation. The claim it won't raise inflation is based on the construction worker going from permanently paying $0 interest to paying $31 a month at an annual cost of $372. You can't use one baseline, interest payments suspended, to argue this will constrain demand and then a different baseline, interest payments restored, to describe the benefits. That is incoherent, inconsistent, and indefensible cherry picking. I hope the White House doesn't do it. They also need to be careful with all the distributional numbers because the beneficiaries will tend to have a higher lifetime incomes than current incomes. A 25-year-old making 75 grand is likely to be at a relatively high percentile on a lifetime basis. Dude, I want to die. This is so fucking stupid. Here's why. It shouldn't matter. It should be free anyway. shut the fuck up. Just because your father has fucking purple and blue links on Wikipedia and therefore you were able to go to fucking Harvard doesn't change that reality for so many other Americans, dude. I hate these motherfuckers so much. I hate them. It almost feels like people are just like, wow, some people are going to get some benefits out of this. I don't like it. Like, oh, God forbid they experience a sense of like unshackling at least one fraction of a burden from their lives. Oh, my Lord. But of course, the reason why a lot of people freak the fuck out is because college debt is a way to burden people, okay? Is a way to burden the workforce even before they get into the workforce, so they are more servile. It also works for America's imperialist endeavors because, hey, you can get college paid. That's why you should join the army, join the military, go army, okay? Because, hey, that's one way that you can get a shitty communications degree and fail and suffer in the same fucking awful marketplace conditions as the rest of the labor force. It's how American life works. It's the same principle as burdening you with employment-based insurance. Because if insurance was offered by the government, you would be able to move around faster. You would be able to change your job. If you're in a shitty workplace where your manager is like sexually harassing you and you have no fucking alternative, you've talked to HR, they're not doing anything about it, you could actually quickly quit and promptly go to another job because you no longer have the fear that like if you get sick in that process, you fucking die or you take on an insane amount of medical debt. That's how it works. Our debtor's economy is created in a way to make more subservient, servile workers. That's a part of the reason why people freak the fuck out when there's any kind of debt relief. You go to college to become a more productive asset. You go to college to become a more productive labor force participant, which is tremendously beneficial for everyone, the entire planet. Education is a good thing, not a bad thing. In order to become a more productive member of the workforce, you are saddled with debt. So when the shitty jobs, which are the only jobs you can get unless you know someone, okay? And as a beneficiary of nepotism, I know this better than anybody else, I promise. That's the only thing you can get unless you already had connections, unless you already interned for free, which is another way to, do slavery, but in a more adequate and appropriate way. It's another way to cut out all the poor people who can't afford to take a free internship, that need to work during summer vacations to survive. That's another way to fucking cull the working poor. The entire system is designed in this way to ensure that there's a funnel that maintains the same classist dynamic that is already in existence. Everybody talks about affirmative action, especially as it pertains to college educations. Like they're like, oh, black people are getting into fucking colleges that they don't deserve to be a part of, blah, 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 blah. Affirmative action is just a Band-Aid policy, right? It's a Band-Aid offered to black Americans and marginalized Americans in general instead of actual economic restitution, reparations. And everybody complains about that. Except the real affirmative action is happening in legacy admissions. And no one complains about legacy admissions. That's it. That's the real classist part of this process. All of these Harvard Andes that are a part of the legacy admissions process are over here chirping. Jay Furman was a developer and owner of real estate located in 39 U.S. states and Puerto Rico. Wow. That's crazy. I was right. This motherfucker does have a fucking... Look at him. What did I say? All these Harvard Andes with their fucking Wikipedia pages where their parents have blue fucking links. These trust fund baby cocksuckers. Oh my God. Look at that. I'm sorry. Can you not pay for college education? Well, fuck you. I got into Harvard because my dad was a real estate billionaire who bought a fucking wing of the library. How did you know that? What do you mean? It's a meme at this point. This kind of stuff makes my fucking blood boil. I know a lot of my haters are like, oh, son, you're fucking incredibly fortunate. You're incredibly fortunate. I'm infinitely closer to you than these motherfuckers. And even then, I'm also advocating for your best interest. But it's so fucked up that you, instead of getting mad at this shit, will hyper-focus on someone like me. They secretly know that if there is actual equality of opportunity, then the system would have to change. If there are more educated people, they are more willing to organize. If there are more educated people, there are more opportunities to change. It's not as easy to consistently create a servile underclass when you are not saddled by tremendous amounts of debt